So now they have to watch out because there are people coming for them. And of course Hotshot is complaining that other people are playing stupidly and he's awesome. So he doesn't make mistakes ever. In his mind, that is. But yeah, it is true that bottom lane has been coming to gank a lot of times and he doesn't get a lot of help with that. So there's no ward, there's no warnings. It would probably be helpful to get some of those. Some advanced warning that somebody's coming. And finally there's a ward now at Dragon. Yeah, as I said, not a lot to say. Because, well, it's the laning phase still. Yeah, it's always the same thing early game, that there's nothing to talk about. So I'm trying just to fill the void here a little bit with random talk about how there's nothing to talk about. Yeah, I know. It's a bit useless. Anyway, what we're going to see is probably that people, once they build up enough AP or attack damage, they will get into more of a team fight mode. We can see Hotshot saving most of his cooldowns until he has everything up. Well, except for his ultimate, of course, because that just takes too long. But once he has all three up, he can release all of them. Well, he can release them in duos. Because I guess you want to double the Q or something. Uses Pillar of Flame first, then his E, and then after that his Q. Which I have no idea why or what is the best sequence. And we will find out over the next week probably, as I will be buying him and I will be playing him. So getting off a lot of damage there, even without help of any minions. And the Q skill with the stun seems to be really good. I'm going directly for AP. As always, he's buying the catalyst first. The catalyst is used in early game to for its level up effect. Well, of course you get bonus mana, bonus HP, and that's all very nice. But the nicest thing about it is that it actually provides extra life in the times that you level up. So you can take a little bit more damage and you will actually heal. And if you time it perfectly, then you can actually use that in a fight. But well, in this case it's not. But he will level up. He's almost leveling up, and he knows that, of course. He keeps track of that. Okay, so they do get a kill on Nunu there after some, yeah, well, some risk of him getting away. And they probably are going to get a kill there. But then, yeah, well, they lose TF. And top didn't actually get the kill. Aurelia is very tanky, of course. That's why most people say she's overpowered. Because you can build her as tanky as you want and she still does a lot of damage. And that's not, well, not correct for a champion, of course. I mean, Blaze is not going to be very tanky when you want to do damage. Brand. How do I call him? Blade. He's called Brand, which is actually Dutch for fire. What a coincidence. Anyway, back to just a little bit more farming. And bottom is farming as well. Top is defending the turret, or defending at the turret I should say. He's probably very low health by now, because otherwise why would you stay back with Cho'Gath? Cho'Gath heals up quite nicely when killing minions. And he normally can withstand or can deal more harassment than he can receive. So it seems he's looking everywhere on the map to keep track of what people are doing and where the fights are going on. So he can now two-shot the caster minions, which is very helpful if you want to farm. Because if you know that, yeah, well, you can easily take them out, then you should do that every time. And he's probably going to do it here again. And indeed. And then the melee minions, they get killed individually. So now that Nidalee has gotten boots, he doesn't hit the pillar of flame anymore. Because she keeps moving, and once he puts it down, she just moves out of the way. So he'll have to be a little bit cleverer. So, for example, stun her first, and then drop the pillar, which can easily be done, of course. So Nunu trying to get the enemy blue, but that's not going to work out too well. Instead of giving it to Blaze here, he takes it himself, Olaf, which was not the idea, I'm guessing. I mean, it's not very normal for the jungler to take the buffs after the jungling phase is basically over. Doesn't mean that you cannot jungle anymore, it just means that the jungle creeps have been, well, or the champions are so much stronger than the jungle minions that, yeah, you don't need the buffs anymore. You give the buffs to your other champions who need either the extra damage or slow, or who need the mana from the blue buff. So in this case I think this was a mistake, but well. So there's still no fighting going on. I played a game yesterday in which I was annoyed again by the amount of fighting going on. We were totally winning the game, and people just kept fighting instead of just leveling up, controlling the lanes and pushing the towers. They kept fighting and fighting and fighting at the turret of the opponents. So meaning that they only had 3 people defending against 4 of us. Well, I was still jungling and killing minions. But it was very annoying to see that people just stay in the same place all the time, even with no chance of breaking through. And eventually we got an opportunity to kill one of them outside of their base because he was doing red buff. And yeah, we killed him and basically won the game from there. But yeah, it's something that people really need to learn to understand, that getting the experience and the golds is important old game. Yeah, the experience of course up till level 80, but that's still about 30 minutes into the game normally, 20 to 30. But yeah, it's more important to kill the minions than to kill a champion, because the champion is going to give you 300 golds if you're lucky one time, while the minions give you about 30 gold each. So getting a wave of minions, which is about 6 or 7, later game it will be 7. That means that you get 210 gold just from that. That's about 2/3 of a champion kill. So if you do a wave and a half, then you're equal to a champion kill. And people forget that. People think that killing champions is so important. And it's only important if you're using the Magi Soul Stealer or things like that. And we can see here in this game that it's important, because otherwise why would these high ELO players keep doing this? Why would they keep sitting in their lane killing minions? And not even killing the turret right away. I mean, there's not 5 people coming to kill middle turret, because it's useless. The opponent's team can gank you then if you're trying to push into the next turret, and there's no reason to do it. Of course, at some point in the game it is very useful to have some turrets down, if only for the gold, the experience, and the amount of movement speed, freedom, you get from killing a turret. But not as early as they normally do it in my games. And we